Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to tell you all about another top-level Impact Wrestling star whose contract expires very soon.
It looks like Shaquille O'Neal and Cody Rhodes could face off at AEW Revolution.
Speaking of AEW, we're going to run through the first ever set of Dynamite Award winners.
And AEW Dynamite was hit with some major streaming issues last night. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Alright, so we're going to kick things off talking Impact Wrestling, where, you know, there's been something of a talent exodus recently, in a way, I guess. Taya Valkyrie, record-breaking Knockouts champion, gone. Ethan Page, record-breaking Tag Team champion, gone. Moose, the current TNA World Champion, declared himself last year, maybe gone in June. Contract expires, that's when his contract expires, in June. Fightful Select coming through with the report clarifying this. There was some speculation coming out of the pay-per-view, Hard to Kill, where Don Callis said Moose had a 2-year deal with the promotion. That is true, but some people took it the wrong way. It was a 2-year deal signed in 2019. That expires in June. There's currently no word on whether or not Moose is going to re-sign with the promotion, but the interesting thing is that there are also reportedly several other people within Impact whose contracts expire within the first half of the year. Josh Alexander was mentioned by Dave Meltzer, I believe, at the end of the year, at the end of 2020, saying he's going to be sticking around through, you know, a few months into 2021 when Ethan Page leaves, his former tag team partner. That might be one of them. Not clarifying that, that's just me speculating on the matter. But it seems like Impact Wrestling is in a situation with the roster, at least soon, maybe in a state of flux. We've lost those two big names. Moose's contract's up, a couple of other people as well, supposedly. It's nothing new, really, for Impact over the past few years. I remember 2017, 2018, they almost replenished the whole roster. And you saw guys like Pentagon and Phoenix and some other people coming into the company and taking spots that had been vacated by others. So it's not anything necessarily new. Personally, I think Moose is a really good fit for Impact, and I hope he sticks around. He was probably the star of that Hard to Kill main event, man, and that match had Kenny Omega in it, so that says a lot. He worked his ass off. He's in a program with Rich Swann at the moment for the quest to find out who is the real world champion. Moose, of course, with the TNA belt, Rich Swann with the Impact World Championship. Whatever happens here, I just kind of hope it doesn't really disrupt anything for Impact, because since Omega and stuff came through, there's been a bit more buzz around the promotion. Ratings are up, particularly in the 18 to 49 demographic. Twitch numbers are up. They're in a pretty good place at the moment over the past few months. So here's hoping that it isn't too disruptive. But what do you reckon, Mr. Wilborn?
I'd like you say Impact Wrestling doing really well at the moment. I think they've got some great stuff off this partnership with AEW. I think they just passed 4 million subscribers on YouTube, so congratulations to them for that. And you know, we've seen this time and time again, as you alluded to there, Andy, that people leave Impact Wrestling and the company just keeps on rolling. I think losing Moose would be a big hit for them. I think he has been a revelation for me, certainly in the last few months, but for quite a while there, like you say, ever since he sort of declared himself this world champion, I think he's been great, and he's been featured heavily, obviously, in major sort of world title or world title adjacent feuds. I think the thing for Impact is, if that is the case, we may well see him go to one of the two big companies, WWE or AEW. Look, I'm biased here. I hope Moose does do well wherever he decides to end up. He was one of the loveliest guys we could work with when we had him in WCPW, and he was insanely talented, of course, as well. And certainly, Moose is one of those guys that you think of like the airport test. The age-old thing of like, will he turn people's heads? And he did wherever he went with us. And I could easily see a WWE or AEW, and possibly to counter that, Impact Wrestling throwing a whole load of money at him, because he's great.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be a man in demand if he does leave in June. So whatever happens, hope it's the best for him, and hope it's the best for wherever he signs.
Right, let's talk a little bit about AEW, specifically AEW Dynamite last night, where we got more developments in the whole surreal feud that we've got with Shaquille O'Neal and Cody Rhodes. Last night showed them air a clip of Shaquille O'Neal effectively calling Cody out and saying, let's have a fight in March. Cody Rhodes marched down to the ring and said it would be his dream to face Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill, who of course has been involved and cut promos on Cody and his wife, and of course poyed him in the face the other week on Britt Baker's little talk show. And he said it would be a dream to have, as I said, Shaq and Jade versus himself and Brandy. But Brandy's pregnant. He's going to be a dad, and what a lovely moment that is for them, as we keep saying. Arn Anderson cut this great promo, talked about chewing Cody Rhodes out because he's a grumpy old bastard, but we love him anyway, and then introduced a possible replacement for Brandy Rhodes. This seems to be the direction they are going in for AEW Revolution. It looks like we are going to get Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill in one corner versus Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. It's been teased over the last few weeks. She came in, she cut a great promo on Jade Cargill, saying she was going to stir Jade's I'm going to quote here, Andy, bitch ass up. Your thoughts?
It makes sense, doesn't it? Because
yes.
Red Velvet has been associated with Brandy for a while. They had some interactions on Dark. They've had some interactions on Dynamite as well. I think Red Velvet is a Nightmare Factory prospect as well, so she'll be familiar with the Rhodes family. And Arn, speaking of Arn, really good promo and a really impressive in-ring showing from Arn Anderson later on against Jungle Boy in the evening as well. But yeah, this was the way to go. I'm really curious to see Jade Cargill wrestle. I have no idea what she's going to be like. That's one of the most exciting things about this whole situation is like, where's she at in her development? We have no idea. So it'll be interesting. Come on, Shaq's in it. You're not getting your 5-star match, but who cares? It'll be a big fun celebrity showdown and hopefully attract some eyes to the product.
March 7th, is it, at Revolution? They moved it, obviously, didn't they? Yeah, March 7th.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday. Sunday. How dare you not think of us content creators? You should have put us first. Never mind anything else. I'm joking, of course. But Shaq, of course, cut that little promo last night during the award show, Bleacher Report. Let's talk about the AEW Awards. Seamless. They were announced last night, the first ever set done through this Bleacher Report show. We're not going to run through every single one because, that'll take ages. But they weren't like conventional pro wrestling awards. They weren't like the Slammies in a sense where it was like Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year, Feud of the Year, or whatever. There's some conventional ones like male and female breakout star. It was Darby Allin and Hikaru Shida, respectively.
Yeah.
But you got things like hardest moment to clean up after. Santana and Ortiz versus best friends. You had best Twitter follow, Nyla Rose. Fair play, she's good on Twitter.
No.
What's this?
I'll get to this. I'm sorry, I'm just getting more and more annoyed as you go through these. Carry on.
All right. Biggest surprise. Sting's debut, the LOL Award. Boring. Was the Young Bucks super kicking MJF into the pool or throwing him into the pool on the Jericho Cruise. WTF Moment of the Year, Kenny Omega's world title win and Impact walkout. High Flyer, Rey Fenix. There's just some wacky stuff here. You look like you're ready to uncoil a spring, so go for it.
I'm absolutely furious. We did a whole podcast on this. I mean, I'm also furious because I think I got every single one aside from, was it Bleacher Report Moment of the Year, Stadium Stampede? I think me and Sidgwick maybe have both agreed on that one, but I got everything else. Maybe Darby Allin. No, maybe I gave that to Eddie Kingston. So I can't remember. Regardless, how has MJF not won any awards here, aside from vicariously because he was involved when he got kicked into a sodding pool? I love Nyla Rose. She is great to follow on Twitter, but my best friend MJF is just better. He's better than you, and you know it. Oh my God, I'm so annoyed. But yes, a nice bit of fun, and I love these sorts of things. They're great, and I'm probably just more annoyed because I thought MJF could win like 5 awards and then could be one of those people like we see at the Grammys or whatever with armfuls of awards and then just asking Chris Jericho to hold them whilst he cuts a promo or whatever. And just, I don't know, I thought that could add another element to that ongoing stuff with the Inner Circle. But just pissed off for my boy basically, and annoyed that I basically got every single one wrong. But yeah, completely agree with Stadium Stampede winning. I think it's Moment of the Year, is that right?
Whoop. Let's check. It's not worth the effort. Bleacher Report pay-per-view Moment of the Year.
Yes.
So there we go.
Absolutely. But let us know your thoughts on the awards in the comment section below. And we'll conclude by telling you about an apology Tony Khan released yesterday off the back of some streaming issues for AEW Dynamite. People struggling to watch that war. Let's just describe it what it was. The war between Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer. They beat the crap out of each other. And there was just some problems with TNT's own platform, Hulu. That resulted in many viewers missing the opening bit of AEW Dynamite. Be interested to see how that plays into the ratings, etc., etc. But Tony Khan tweeted, "I'm so sorry that fans streaming #AEW Dynamite were unable to see the opening of tonight's show in their apps. TNT fixed the issue, got it working again. Archer versus Kingston was a tremendous match. After this show, we'll put it on YouTube. Please enjoy the rest of this great show." And he was true to his word, Andy. They hooked it up straight away after the show finished, the full match. And if you haven't seen it, it's well worth checking out. But yeah, annoying when stuff like that happens because bloody technical stuff.
Yeah, it sucks because it sounds like the flaw was on TNT's side by going by these reports and stuff. It sucks, but it's a nice thing to do, putting it on YouTube. Yeah, check it out. It's a good match.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Seth Fracker starts us off saying, "Good morning, legends. Good morning. Do you have a guilty pleasure when it comes to wrestling? Something objectively bad, but you still pop for it? Mine is that stupid chop the great Carly would finish matches with. It was and is dumb, but if he came back and did it, I'd pop."
Yeah, like, I often have, like, okay, so it's impossible to say this without sounding like a total wank, but I have trouble sometimes with the phrase guilty pleasures because I love all the bad stuff. Like, yeah. I'm not remotely ashamed of some of the bad crap that I enjoy. With that in mind, to answer the question, I love late WCW. I love the wheels coming off, Judy Bagwell on a forklift, all that garbage is right up my street. But my ultimate, I guess, is probably on the greatest wrestling pay-per-view of all time, WrestleMania X7, the gimmick battle royal, won by the Iron Sheik who could barely walk, let alone win the match. Gobbledygooker was in this. The Goon is a shambles on the greatest show of all time, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think you're completely true with what you said there, Andy. Like what you like. You don't have to say it's a guilty pleasure or whatever. I suppose I should say sort of knock-off award shows because they're always a bit convoluted, aren't they? But I do love them. Hence why I got so annoyed that MJF didn't win as many awards as I did. Do you know what I'll say? Because it's something objectively bad, but you'll still pop for. I'll say, considering the time of year, really bad eliminations from the Royal Rumble. So I'm talking your Taka Michinoku smashing his face on the floor, or was it Snitsky and Paul London? Like, you can't tell me the planet is Paul. You're going to duck underneath, and then I'm going to take your sodding head off. Stuff like that I really enjoy. But like what you like, and good luck everyone. What is it we're going to have? 58 eliminations we got to look forward to this weekend, Andy. 1 or 2 are going to be botched and we're going to love it. People like, what's his name? Alex Riley, when he's just like, oh, bollocks, and falls off. Royal Rumble botches, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay, second question today comes from Rahul V. Krishnan. Thanks for getting in touch again, Rahul. He says, after a decent superstar spectacle show, do you guys think any of the Indian talents will be getting called up to the main roster anytime soon? If yes, then who should be getting the call? I think Indus Sher will be a good addition. You watched Superstar Spectacle. What did you reckon to it, Andy?
It was a fun show, yeah. Like, I thought they did a really good job of, like, introducing the characters, introducing the personalities with the vignettes, telling you who these people are, and then giving them some nice little showcases in the ring. It was genuinely just a nice way to spend an hour and a half. It was a good show. It was better than Raw this week, which I know is a low bar, but like, I enjoyed myself. I don't know if we'll see any of the Indian wrestlers move on to the main roster like full time, but I definitely think we'll see an appearance or two here and there, right? Because it's a good way to market. I thought that Serena Sandhu's probably a good person to feature in some role because she had good chemistry with Charlotte Flair in that tag match. I mean, Jinder was on the show. He's obviously going to be a main roster fixture, so he doesn't count. But I think the guy who looked the most main roster ready to me was Jeet Rama, which is kind of interesting because I think this was his first televised match, and the guy's already 40 years old. So you gotta kind of pump the gas on him, right? But if anyone does kind of move into a more regular role, I think it'll be him or Serena. But I think it'll just kind of be like, the odd appearance here and there. I think we'll see someone from the show in the Rumble, though.
I was about to say, I was thinking that maybe we were going to get that. Indus Sher I like is a good pick as well. And I'm glad they've been moved away from Malcolm Bivens. He's got, Tyler Rust over on NXT. That's just a far better fit for me. Indus Sher should just be this destroyer tag team who runs through people. And maybe we will see them on the main roster soon if one of the shows needs someone like that. But some of the boys look very big on that show, particularly Jinder, as we've mentioned before. Right, let's move on to our final question from Ash Parker, who says, good day to you. What if the Rumble winners decided to challenge for the NXT UK titles? Who would you want to see win to face the champions? I'd like to see Walter versus Cesaro and Naomi versus Kay Lee Ray.
Those are two matches I would definitely like to see. But I don't think necessarily that having the Rumble winners challenge the NXT UK champions would be the best move. I think rather than elevating the NXT belts, it would do that to an extent, but I think it would be more harmful to the Rumble win overall. For me, the Rumble win should always be like you're going into a big prestige match at WrestleMania. And I love Walter and I love Cesaro, but WrestleMania is not just about a really quality match, which those two would definitely give you. It's about the glitz and the glamour and the star power and the pizzazz. It's showbiz. It's the flashy Hollywood show of the year. So I'm not too sure that would be the best choice. But I would love to see those matches. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no question. I mean, Naomi versus Kay Lee Ray would be sensational in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it happening like you, Andy. It was a push to have Charlotte challenge for the NXT Championship last year. So I think the NXT UK titles are a way off. The only way I can see it happening is my pick to win the Royal Rumble, which constantly changes. But my surprise pick to win the Royal Rumble, my best friend Wade Barrett is going to come in and then he's going to take over NXT UK. And I'm afraid I've got some bad news, Walter. Sorry, he's going to win the NXT UK Championship. But let us know your thoughts on that possibility in the comments. And I'll conclude with this horrifying image that has been doing the rounds on Twitter. And thank you to everyone who tagged us in this. James Van Der Beek's horror nightmare that is Topang Grell. That is Topanga from Boy Meets World combined with Andy Murray's favourite wrestler, Gangrel. Your reaction to this, Andy?
I'm not going to collapse in laughter like I did on yesterday's video, but this is unique.
Yeah. I think it's not pulling curtain too far back to say that when I showed this to Andy Murray before we started recording, he said, that's fucking horrifying. So
Yeah, it is, man. What the hell?
No more of that sort of thing. More wrestlers on utensils. We'll come back to that tomorrow. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys sitting down to review the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Why should they follow both of us? You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H today stands for Happy Birthday, Seamus.
Oh, it's his birthday today. Oh, happy birthday, Seamus.
Very underrated, Seamus. Legitimately really underrated. Awesome.
Good for you. Happy birthday. I was thinking, do I attempt an Irish accent? For once, no. As a birthday present, Irish. Why did I just call him Irish? Birthday present, Seamus. I won't attempt an Irish accent. Let's wrap this up. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon. Top of the morning to you.
Oh, God.